Hi, readers. Today we're going to talk about another strategy to help you make sure that you're really remembering what it is that you're reading. And we're going to be talking about using stop and jots to remember ideas. So if you remember our book, Those Darn Squirrels, here we go, Those Darn Squirrels by Adam Rubin, we're going to show you today how you can stop and while you're reading and think about what it is that you're reading and then jot down your ideas. You can do this with your books in Raz Kids by stopping and using the annotation tool as well. So let's take a look at our book here. All right, so Those Darn Squirrels by Adam Rubin, illustrated by Danielle Salmieri. Now you're already familiar with the story, so we're just going to practice this strategy. And for this strategy, I need my Post-its or stickies and something to write with. I'm going to use a marker so that you can see it a little bit better. Now, some of the things that we've talked about that are really important in reading is to use the illustrations from the text to help you understand the setting and the characters. So you really want to make sure that you're looking closely, thinking about the characters, the setting, and the plot. And I'm going to think about those items while I'm reading, and then I'm going to jot down what I notice on a Post-it or a sticky note to help me make sure that I remember. So if I'm taking a look at this first page and I'm taking a look at, here's the house and see the trees, and then I see here, there aren't a lot of homes. This looks very different. I can tell that this is not a city. It's not a big place where there's tall buildings. It looks like it's almost out in the country. And now I'm going to begin reading. It says, on the outskirts of town, at the edge of a forest. Ooh, the edge of a forest. So here's the forest. There was a little old house. The only thing older than the little house was the man who lived in it. Old Man Fookwire. So I'm going to make a note. I'm going to take my Post-it. I'm going to draw a little house here to show that I'm talking about the setting. Okay. So I'm thinking about the setting of the story. And I can tell right now, and based on the text that I read and looking at the pictures, so that he's near a forest. I can tell that there's, it's open land. It says on the outskirts of town. So it looks to me kind of like it's in the country. I might say not a lot of buildings. Because I'm really trying to get an idea of the setting of the story, where the story takes place, okay? And I can use this, I can keep this, if I'm reading a book, I can keep it like right there on the edge of my book. I can just stick it on that page and then maybe leave it sticking out a little bit so that I know that it's there. Or I can even just set it to the side to help me remember. For this lesson, I'm going to set it to the side so that we can come back and review. Okay, and I'm even going to put page 5 where I got this information. If you are reading a book in Raz Kids or a book on the computer and you open up the text tool, you can open up a text box and you can write down the things that you notice about the setting. So now the other thing that we talked about, the other skill that we talked about was making sure that we're really understanding the characters. And so earlier this year, you learned how to really pay attention to the illustrations, to think about what is all the information that you're learning about the characters. So I'm going to first take a look at these pictures. And I'm going to go ahead and read. It says, Old Man Fookwire was so old that when he sneezed, dust came out. He was also a grump. He hated pie. He hated puppies. The only thing he liked was birds. And then I can tell, and it goes on to say that he likes to paint pictures of birds. So I'm going to get another sticky. I'm going to do a stop and jot. What I'm doing is I'm stopping reading and I'm jotting some things down on a sticky. So now I'm going to talk about the characters. So I'm going to just draw a little stick person. I'm going to write the word characters so that you know that this is what I'm talking about. Okay, character. And so I'm going to put old man Fookwire, because if you get to the end of a book and you cannot remember the character's name, that's really important. So if you get to the end of a book and someone says, "Oh, well, who's the character?" and you say, "Oh, this guy," and if you can't remember the person's name, the character's name, and the author gave it to you, you really do want to make sure that you go back and reread to get that information. So his name is Old Man Fookwire. I know that he's really old. I know he's grumpy. They told me he's grumpy. I know he hates pie, puppies. Okay. I know that he likes birds and he likes painting. So far, if I had to do a quick check and think, what is this book about so far? This book is about an old man named Old Man Fookwire, who's old, grumpy. He doesn't like pie. He doesn't like puppies, things that most people like. But he does like birds. He likes painting. And the setting of the story is near a forest and open land in the country. There's not a lot of buildings around. So again, I'm taking the information from the illustrations, I'm taking the information from the text, and I'm doing a stop and jot to help me think about what's going on. Okay. So again, if I would continue to read, and then we know, so I'm not going to go through this whole book right now because we've read this already, but I know that in the pictures, he has bird feeders for the birds, and he wants the birds to stay. And so then I might do stop and jots while I'm reading, and I might even think of like the problem and the solution. So I might say, P for problem. He's lonely and wants the birds to stay. Okay. The birds are leaving. Okay. So I might be thinking about that and just quickly jotting that down while I am reading to help me make sure that I'm really remembering what's going on in the story. So, readers, when you're doing your reading, I would like you to try doing the same thing. And then you have your stop and jots to kind of help you remember the important or the main things that are happening in the story. So, again, I can remember now with my stop and jots, go back who my main character is, what the setting is of the story, and what the problem is. And of course, as you continue reading, you would add on to that. So again, to review, the skill that you've learned is while you are reading, use stop and jots to remember ideas.